Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Soapbox Slam, where I get on my soapbox and I talk about the things that I see going on. One of the topics that I did a post about earlier today was about a television show called Quiet on the Set. It's on HBO, and it talks about childhood actors, child actors, right? And I wanted to expand on that because as I was going through my day, I was thinking about what today's children endure. And I got to thinking, and I was like, what other solutions could we come up with to help our children be better adjusted in today's world, right? There's so much anxiety with children today. There's so much self-deprecation and self-doubt and self-esteem issues with children today. There's all the other elements that are bombarded with children, a lot of it having to do with the internet and everything else. And just after watching this film and watching what all these childhood actors were going through and the state of their mental health, it started making me think about what can we do to better improve mental health among our youth. And as I got to thinking about this, I came up with, I doubt that I'm like the only person who came up with this idea, but I want to present to the viewers and to the public, or challenge us in the public to come up with a plan to better be to better help our children today, right? And so as I'm thinking about all this, and that's what I'm on my soapbox about, what can we do to improve the mental health of our youth, right? Not just childhood actors, but all of our youth. This was inspired by watching that film and thinking about what childhood actors go through, what I went through as a child, and my life experience. And I just kept thinking, what would have been, what kind of resources and tools would be available for us to have a better state of mental health among our youth. Okay. And so some of the solutions that I came up with, or some of the thoughts that were running through my head were, what if, like, we have health class, right? I believe, I don't know, I don't have any children at this point, so I don't know if they still do health class in junior high and high school. If they do still do health class, and again, this is not my arena. I have cousins who work in education. I have friends who work in education, and this would be more along your lines and in your arena. But what if we created through health class like a 3 or 4 week program addressing mental health and addressing kind of addressing what self-body image and really have, as opposed to it being a question answer quiz testing type of health class, it be more of an interactive forum where, let's say your instructors of the class, let's say you have more than one instructor, right? You have several instructors in the class, and I think it's important if you were to do something like this, that you have several instructors of different sizes, like, fat, thin, different races. I think a very assertive effort to bring diversity in humanity into the classroom, and then the entire 4 weeks with specific topics be an interactive discussion about mental health issues. And then taking it one step further, not just in health class, what if for that 4 weeks, your English classes were about childhood books dealing with mental health, image issues, the internet and cyberbullying, all of these things that are affecting our children today, even if we had these kind of avenues to talk about when we were when we didn't have the internet, but clicks and all of this, but a very kind of detailed program for 4 weeks in health or anything else. But I say health class at a minimum. I think a more coordinated 4 weeks where literature is discussed. Like, for example, The Catcher in the Rye is a great coming of age book. And all of this is really how do our youth deal with coming of age. And there's a lot of material in The Catcher of the Rye that deal with a lot of different things. I mean, some of it is lascivious, where there's a little lechery going on. Some of it is self-doubt and self-deprecation. Some of it is envy and adoration. So The Catcher in the Rye would be a great book to coincide with, let's say, your 4-week health class or your 4 week of mental health for our students, right? And then you incorporated it in science, and you incorporated when you talk about mental health in science, you kind of are talking about the brain makeup, chemistry, different areas of the brain that influence emotions and things like that, and that's really for 4 weeks focused on in your science classes. And it's a coordinated, combined effort in all of the subjects to address mental health for 4 weeks out of the year, and really try to educate our children and our youth on all of the factors that affect our mental health. Some of the scientific ones that we have no control over, that being early onset of schizophrenia or early onset of other mental health diseases, but also the more concentrated, ADHD, all of these things where we, and I say we as our education system, is trying to make an assertive effort into getting the youth to wrap their brain and wrap their understanding around good mental health and outlets when things are bad at home, and particularly with the health classes, because I'm bouncing around here with different subjects. This is not my lane. My mind just kept running away with what are we doing in our society to give mental health tools to our youth, because there's lots and lots and lots of issues when it comes to the mental health of our youth. And there's so much anxiety with our youth. There's so much self-deprecation and I mean, just all kinds of insecurities. I would say that is kind of elevated and heightened even more than what we may have experienced without the internet. I'm incorporating the internet as a main instrument in our society today, a main tool in our society today that has perpetuated image issues, has perpetuated self-esteem issues, all sorts of things. In my day, when it was all magazines and things like that, I mean, these were things that were influential. But now in our society, everybody has access to the internet. Our youth are using the internet, and the majority of stuff that's posted on the internet doesn't really explain the hard work or the even down to dancing. It never shows how people learn to get to the dance. It always just shows them doing the dance perfectly, right? And everything that's posted on the internet is all perfect, right? Everybody's using filters. I do not use filters. I've never used I don't even know how that works, right? I don't even know how to use a filter. This is me. All of this is me, okay? Flaws and all. And I always wear a hat because this nigga right here is balding. Excuse my horrible language to use, but I cover up my head because I'm balding. I mean, that's just the honest to God truth. And I feel like I look better with a hat on because of my balding. And that's that. So, and I have an image issue too, like, right? Like, I hate the fact that I'm an older man balding. But I'm really trying to come up with ideas and run ideas past people, especially those people who are in education. What can be done for us to incorporate mental health into our programs? And there may be some programs that are out there. There may be some efforts that are made right now. I don't have children. I don't deal with schools. I'm not around kids. I don't know what's going on. I just know that mental health is a real serious issue. And when I say mental health, I don't necessarily mean extreme cases of mental health. I mean basic cases where without the internet in my day, we had issues. I mean, bullying issues. I feel like a very, very, very assertive effort. And I feel like the people who should be teaching this, you have your regular teachers in English, science, math, history, and that sort of thing. And I feel like in those classes during this period of time should incorporate elements of mental health, whether it's this week we're going to read Catcher in the Rye and talk about the mental health of that child in Catcher in the Rye, right? And that's a part of the English aspect of it. And, you know, the spelling aspect, there are words that are focused on mental health words and things like that. You know, so you can incorporate mental health into the curriculum, into other subjects. And then within the health class, that class specifically, I feel like that should be a completely immersive, interactive kind of discussion time, discussion period, where we talk about, in that health class, you're talking about mental health. And I feel like it doesn't just come from one teacher who's the normal health teacher, but that it's got trained professionals of all different types who are in the classroom, and a coordinated effort is done to discuss mental health issues with the children. And I also think that it's important to not only discuss mental health issues in health class with the children as a group, but I also think it's important to separate the groups and talk about mental health issues among men and mental health issues among women, and separating the group and having a group of men talk to women, talk to the boys about stuff, and a group of women talk to the women about stuff, but then switching it and having women, mental health professionals talking to boys, women talking to boys, and then mental health men, professional men talking to girls. So you're kind of crisscrossing the messages and everything else. I think all of that is very important, in addition to the imaging, the type of person that's coming to talk to them, what they look like, body sizes and everything else. And I think all of that should be reflected to the children. I'm not sure if there's a whole mental health month in our calendar. I mean, there's so many designated things in our calendars, right? So like, I don't know if there's a whole mental health month and then this could coordinate with the mental health month, but I feel like it would be a great service to society and a great service to our children and the youth if a really assertive effort was made in our education system to address mental health, and really dig to, and when I mean dig, really pull it out of our children to talk about it, and do this in a forum, in a way, in an assertive, several prong approach through through the other courses and subjects like English, math. I mean, you can create math problems that deal with mental health issues. I mean, problem solving skills that reflect and coordinate with statistics of mental health patients and things like that. I mean, a complete approach to mental health with our children. I don't know. It was just something that was on my mind. It was something that I was thinking about. And I just thought about the youth. I thought about it because of this television show on HBO, Quiet on the Set, and what childhood actors go through. But you don't have to be a childhood actor to go through these kind of traumas. I mean, we put the childhood actors on some sort of pedestal, when the truth of the matter is all of our children would manifest the exact same side effects if they too went through that type of stuff. And guess what? They do go through it. You do not have to be a celebrity to have lecherous behavior like what went on in on that show. You do not have to be a childhood celebrity to be berated the way that this guy Dan, I already forgot his name, but the way that the Dan Schneider berated and ran his production set. Like, it doesn't have to be the element of Hollywood for that to happen. That's happening in people's homes all the time, especially in underserved, underprivileged, lower classes of society. So this isn't just a Hollywood child issue. All of our children are enduring this type of stuff, especially with the advent of the internet. And that's what I'm on my soapbox about. That's what it's about. So I just wanted to make that little thing, say something, get your feedback, get you involved, get you thinking about it, especially the people who are in education, to challenge you to try and do an assertive effort to address mental health. And I mean an assertive effort. And it may already be going on. I may be on my soapbox about something that I know nothing about. And I admit that from the very beginning. It's just something that was on my mind after doing my soapbox earlier and after watching that film. All right? Have a wonderful day. Be kind.